Aaron, can you help check out, do you remember who James Meredith was, Julie?
Oh, wasn't he the first one who went to the Mississippi University?
Right.
White only.
Ole Miss, right. So.
Oh, that dude.
Right, who wanted to go to law school. Students today need to go beyond basic reading and writing. They need to be able to use technology to better their future. We live in a society that it's vital that they understand how to use the internet, how to create presentations on the computer, and so the skills necessary today are much different than they used to be. They need to be creative with the computer and, again, use technology to improve their reading and their writing. As a teacher, my first job really is to facilitate their learning, to guide them in the right direction. And so by doing that, often I let them experience or use the computers themselves or whatever type of technology and to explore. And I help them with that so that they figure it out. And ultimately, they end up helping me understand technology as well. It's important to teach students how to find information efficiently. First of all, you've got to keep them on track. Sometimes they like to check their email. So the first, task is to get them focused on the sites that they need to look at.
I want you to listen to the clips of music, and then I want to talk to you about what's on your paper. So I'm going to borrow yours, Alexa, really quickly. All right. I asked you to think about these things, the types of music that you listen to, what they're called. While the students were in the centers today, I try to develop some guidelines for each center, and I usually type up a printed sheet of directions with guidelines and things I expect from each student. For instance, with the music group, I gave them a sheet with the questions, written questions, which I feel is very important for them to be able to not only hear it, but also read it and see it, so that they would know as they were looking and listening to the music that there were certain things that they were to keep in mind and take notes on. And I expect to see those from each individual student. And also, even as they put their poster together, which is their final project in the music center, I expect to see the individual parts that each person put into it.
I almost think it's more difficult to get them to evaluate the legitimacy of internet material. So people are now starting to develop, improved guidelines for determining the legitimacy of a website. I have a guideline for questions that they need to ask when determining whether or not the author is legitimate, the information, if they feel that that's legitimate. But more than anything, it provides them with an opportunity to stop and think, okay, is this website providing me with the accurate information, rather than just clicking on the first site that they get to. And trying to make sure that whatever piece they're reading is as unbiased as possible.
Show me your slideshow so I can move, and then go to Google. You know how to do that with the images, and you'll find what you're looking for in Google Images.
One thing that I believe that's probably different than a lot of other people, it might be because I'm so young, I'm not sure, is that it's okay for kids to depend on certain kinds of technology and to learn how to use that technology to help them. So the way I think about literacy is, can kids read and write in a way that allows them to express themselves to the best of their ability? And if they can't do that, do they have the tools they need to help themselves do that? So for me, a lot of teaching is about teaching kids, giving kids the tools to represent themselves in a way that shows the best of who they are. And I like technology because I think it helps me do that.
Julie, why did you choose these images?
I think the Rosa Parks was really a brave woman. I think if I were Rosa Parks, I wouldn't be really say I cannot get up because my feet are tired.
I think the most important skill for students is to be able to find the correct information and use it in an accurate manner and as creatively as possible. And so just going to the internet or anything and finding the information and typing it up in a very basic manner is fine, but it's important to really take it up a notch and figure out a way, how am I going to capture my audience? What am I going to do to set myself apart from everybody else? And so if they can take the information that they receive and then put it in a very creative project or presentation, then I feel like that's going to help them better or advance further in life. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to teach students in school, not necessarily the names and the dates of the information that they're finding, but rather how to think critically. So whether it's reading a book or using the computer, how do you think and how do you set yourself apart from the people around you so that you can be successful?